Hello everyone and welcome to part 25 of my F1 22 driver career mode here with Mercedes for the Brazilian Grand Prix round 5 of the season, so halfway through now. And if you haven't seen the last episode, go make sure to check that out. Spoilers up ahead. We were able to go and get our very first win of our Formula 1 career in Mexico after a very great race for ourselves, very dominant in the end, in fact. And we have a nice lead now to our championship rival, Fernando Alonso, in P2 in the Ferrari there. And actually, Lando Norris isn't too far behind him either, only 8 points behind second place. So, yeah, it's getting close there in the standings. We've been able to pull that little bit of a gap for ourselves to make us nice and comfortable heading into this round, which is exactly what we need, because look at that performance chart. We have been destroyed by everyone, especially McLaren have bought a whole bunch of upgrades, and so we are now 4th fastest car on the grid. Obviously, it's all very, very close. As I've said, I think every episode so far, this R&D chart is very, very zoomed in compared to the first season, so everyone's a lot closer than the chart makes it out to be, but nevertheless, every little bit counts in Formula 1, and so you can't get too complacent with thinking, oh, we're not that far behind. But anyway, let's get to the sprint race now for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and Fernando Alonso, Perez, Russell, Benjamin, and Carlos Sainz, Ocon, Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Albon, Tsunoda, Joe, Lance Stroll, and Robert Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So here we are now lining up in P9 on the grid for the Brazilian sprint race here. As you can see, very much affected by the performance chart. We're right alongside our teammates. We go straight to the 5 red lights here for the sprint race. We are underway. It's an average start, not actually too great in the second phase of the start there. So Carlos Sainz in the Williams is immediately past us. We got Ocon around our outside, so we've actually lost 2 places off the start here for the sprint, which is not what we want when we already have a car that's a bit lower in performance than the very front guys now. We've got to make absolutely everything count here as we now head down towards turn 4, just sort of stuck behind these guys ahead, battling away here for position for the top 10, the very bottom of the top 10, even though there are no points on offer for anything below 8th place. So Russell actually rounding out the points scoring positions at the moment. Meanwhile, these two still arguing with each other for 9th and 10th, and actually Magnussen tries to sneak his way down the inside. Very cheeky move there from the Ford driver as he gets himself alongside, trying to push us down to P12, but we hold on for now. And actually Ricciardo and the other Ford now going up alongside his teammate, sort of like a 2x2 formation here into the 3rd sector almost, as we come around to almost conclude the first lap of the sprint. It has not been a good one for ourselves. Russell battling away with Sergio Perez, Sainz still battling away with Ocon there for almost the entire first lap. Those guys were side by side, but we're going to get a good exit out of that corner because of that. And so we are immediately right up alongside Sainz. We get the slipstream off of Ocon, and so can we maybe go for a double overtake here, heading on to lap 2. Russell looking for a way through on Perez, but Ocon sends it on Russell, sort of protecting his teammate there from a move by Russell, and Ocon actually gets through. So a great move from Ocon to defend from ourselves, but also gain an extra position out of it. And now we are looking to gain a position on our teammate after he got that poor run due to Ocon. However, he's going to send it up around the outside of the Alpine and get the move back up into P8, and now we are looking for a way through on Ocon. We get very, very close to the rear wing of that Alpine. We're going to try and hold it around the outside of the very fast right-hand sweeper. We do that as we now head into the tighter right-hander. Are we going to be able to hold on to the move? Not quite. Ocon leaving us absolutely no room. We are rubbing our front right wheel along his side pod there, so he left us absolutely nothing heading through the corner there. However, we do have a radio message.
Information on Ocon. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
And so I don't know if that's related to the bit of contact we made, if we maybe got a bit of damage, or if there is an engine issue or something for Ocon. But either way, his car is compromised at the moment, and we're going to fly around his outside here, heading on to lap number 3. We'll have the outside for turn 1. We actually set a purple last sector there. However, Ocon's still going to put up a fight there, so clearly not slowing him down too much, whatever that issue is. But we do get the move up into P9 through turn 2 there. And now we've just got to try and close the gap back down to George Russell up in P8. However, Ocon now straight away under attack by Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz here. They're going to go around either side of him here. So a 3 wide through turn 4 there. They're going to continue it through turn 5. No way can they go 3 wide through the sweeper. It looks like they're going to try it. Ocon backs out in the end there, and so it's now Ricciardo versus Sainz. Ocon losing 3 spots in the space of a few corners there. So, yeah, that issue, I said it wasn't really affecting him, but it's clearly affecting him enough to have been slowed down to lose 3 positions. But Ricciardo and Sainz still going at it here. The Ford, in the end, does seem to get the position there over the Williams and taking that last spot in the top 10 again. The top 10 not getting any points in the sprint, but it is a good setup for the Grand Prix. Verstappen leading the sprint so far, ahead of his teammate Pierre Gasly. So clearly those upgrades that Red Bull bought have worked for those guys. And it's now Lando Norris in P3 ahead of his teammate Hamilton in P4. Then Leclerc in P5 and Alonso in P6. So 2 by 2 by 2 there for the top 3 teams in the field at the moment. It's then Sergio Perez in the Alpine doing very well in P7, and then our teammate Russell rounding out the points-paying positions in the sprint so far, and then obviously ourselves just behind him in P9, trying to get ourselves into that top 8 just to try and set ourselves up nicely for the Grand Prix. We are, however, where we qualified for the sprint right now in P9, so we haven't actually lost anything so far. However, you can see at the end of lap 4 there, we set the fastest lap of the sprint. Unfortunately, no points for the fastest lap in the sprint. However, it is very nice and confidence boosting to see that we do have the pace, at least right now in the sprint in race conditions, to set the fastest lap. We do it again with the help of DRS right behind our teammate, and we're now all over the back of Russell heading on to lap number 7. So can we displace our teammate from the points paying positions? Obviously got to be careful, he is our teammate, so we don't want to cause any damage or make any silly moves. So we just wait until the main straight now at the end of lap 8 with the help of DRS, a little bit of slipstream, and we're going to try and go around the outside of turn 1, just like we did a little bit earlier on with Ocon, and we do get the move done there heading into turn 2, and actually Sergio Perez in the Alpine not too far away, and so we can maybe get ourselves another position even and get ourselves 2 points instead of 1 here. As you can see, heading to the end of lap number 9, we are all over the back of the Alpine. He doesn't have DRS to defend like Russell did, so this should hopefully be a little bit easier, although we're still going to be heading side by side into turn 1. Perez tries to sort of force us a little bit wide there, but we do get the move done either way in the exact same way we did it to Russell. That is us up into P7. Is Russell able to go for a move on the Alpine and get himself into P8? It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Verstappen wins the sprint. Russell's going to end up in P9 behind Perez still, so that's a bit of a shame, but we do come home for P7 in the end there. Not a bad recovery considering we lost a couple of positions. We were down in P11 at the start of the sprint at the end of the first lap, but to come back for P7 and a couple of points that could prove to be valuable is very, very good. But Red Bull looking to be the team to beat here in Brazil, and as I was saying, the sort of 2 by 2 by 2 pattern going on there in the top 6 for those top 3 teams. So yeah, hopefully heading into the Grand Prix we can find a little bit of that extra pace that we were missing. That could be a very long race for us if we aren't able to. So yeah, we are heading into the sprint. Obviously where we started, we aren't taking any extra penalties, and in fact I don't think anyone was taking any extra penalties if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, it's going to be a straight race here from where we finished the sprint, pretty much continuing on here into the Grand Prix. And so, yeah, we've just got to try and find whatever it is that we were missing and hopefully carry forward that fast lap pace that we had. But yeah, let's head to the grid rundown now for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Pierre Gasly in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso, Benjamin, Perez, Russell and Daniel Ricciardo, Albon, Tsunoda, Guan Yu Zhou and Schwartzman, Stroll, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon. Sainz and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So here we are lining up on the grid in P7. As I was saying, no grid penalties for anyone, at least in the top part of the field. So in terms of qualifying for the sprint, we have gained a couple of places heading into the Grand Prix, which I guess is one of the benefits of the sprint. Obviously, there's always the possibility of ending up worse off than you qualified during the sprint. So yeah, coming out lucky this time. Russell did lose a spot, but it doesn't really matter in the end. We're still got to fight our way towards the front if we want a good point scoring race. Our main championship rival Alonso is just to our left there in P6, so at least he's not right up the front looking to gain a whole bunch of points. But yeah, we don't want to lose many to him if we want to keep our nice comfortable margin that we have been able to build for ourselves after our win last time out in Mexico. But either way, here we are sitting on the grid. We go to 5 red lights and we are underway for the Brazilian Grand Prix finally. It was a very, very long hold on the red lights, but we are underway nevertheless. It's not an amazing start for us. We've got Perez up our inside. We're going to look to the outside. I was thinking maybe the outside of Leclerc, but I didn't want to make it 3 wide there with the 2 Ferraris. We do hold on to the position over the Alpine, and we dive it down the inside of Leclerc there as well as he gets pushed out a little bit wide by his teammate. In fact, we're going to go for a move on Alonso as well. Can we get both the Ferraris here heading out of turn 3 into turn 4? We do, so a great start for us in the end there to have moved up 2 spots. We were initially looking to lose a spot to Perez, but we end up getting ahead of both of our Ferraris, and more critically, our main championship rival Fernando Alonso there, who is still in P6. We're up into P5, and now we look at the back of Lando Norris, who has been passed by Lewis Hamilton, his teammate there, and let's see if we can maybe make a move up into P4 now at the end of lap number 3, so having to cut forward a few laps there. We have DRS, but so does Lando and his teammate. He doesn't actually go defensive, surprisingly enough, so we go to the inside of turn 1. We go a little bit deep into the corner, but no contact with the McLaren, and we do get the move done there cleanly up into P4, and we set our eyes on the other McLaren of Lewis Hamilton up ahead. We also get the DRS still from Hamilton to help us defend from Lando, and so we do hold a position quite easily heading through turn 4 there now, cutting forwards a little bit later onto lap number 4 as we get ourselves another radio message.
I've got some information on Hamilton for you. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So Hamilton with some sort of issue, so getting that 3rd place and taking that final podium spot may be a little bit easier than we were thinking. And have a look at how much we're going to close up on him here. We had DRS down the straight, but through turn 4, we have closed in such a margin, so I'm not sure what the issue is. Maybe he got a bit of body damage somewhere, because we weren't closing in that much down the straight, but through turn 4, he just had absolutely nothing, and we sweep around the outside of the sweeper there, up into 3rd place and onto the podium. And it'll be interesting to see how Hamilton fares throughout the rest of the race as we cut to the end of lap number 5. He's immediately under pressure from Lando Norris, his teammate, as they head up towards turn 1 at the start of lap number 6. Now, is Hamilton going to make it easy? No, he's not. Hamilton's going to defend. He's going to fight his teammate. Lando does get through, though, into turn 2, up into P4, and now Hamilton immediately under pressure from both the Ferraris as well. However, it's going to be the end of lap 6 when Charles Leclerc is going to make his move on Hamilton, very similar to the move that Lando made just a lap earlier. But it's actually, Leclerc gets it done a little bit easier than Lando did into turn 1. He's actually fully ahead there by the time they're in the braking zone. And so Leclerc up into P5 now, and Hamilton going to have to try and defend from Fernando Alonso, our championship rival here, as they head down towards turn 4. Alonso, though, pulls to the inside there, even though Hamilton has the DRS. Alonso able to go for the move there up into P6, and so Hamilton, just in the space of a few laps, has dropped from the podium down to P7 as we get now to the end of lap number 7. So every single lap it's looking like Hamilton's going to lose at least a place here, as Perez now in the Alpine around the outside of turn 1. He'll have the inside for turn 2 there, and actually Hamilton putting up a bit more of a fight against the Alpine. Now Perez has to pull back in behind. He's got the Ford of Ricciardo and also our teammate Russell there in this little bit of a train now. So Perez to the outside of turn 4. He should get the move done here with a better run out of the corner. No, Hamilton's going to keep it alongside. So maybe it wasn't a body work issue that Hamilton had. Either that or the Alpine's just a little bit easier to defend from, not being a top team. But Perez does get the move done in the end. Ricciardo very cheekily benefiting from that as well, getting himself down the inside of Hamilton, getting himself into P8. So now Hamilton down into P9. Russell, our teammate, still struggling though, down in P10, just on the fringes of the points. He's got a nice gap to Tsunoda, so it's not like he's in major major risk of losing a points-paying position. However, being right down in P10 just isn't where he needs to be. He's going to look for a move on Hamilton, but he's not able to get the move done there. So I really don't know what's happened to Russell this season. Every single race, he doesn't seem to have that same aggression and same speed that he's had in previous seasons. He looks to the inside, Hamilton defends, so he's going to look to the outside like Perez did, but there's contact between them, and Russell, he does get the move done, but he's damaged his front wing. As we cut to the end of lap 9 now, Russell is going to have to come into the pit lane to get that front wing damaged, so everyone else was able to get around Hamilton with little issue, but Russell ends up getting damage from it, so just even further proving my point here. I really don't know what's happened to our teammate this season as we move a little bit on now to lap number 10, just after Russell's pit. Lando coming back at us though. That McLaren is slightly higher rated in the R&D performance chart. However, we also know that Lando is not much of a slouch of a driver, so yeah, he comes back at us. He's back up into P3. We're going to sit all over the back of him though and try and get back ahead of him. We have a little slide on the exit of the sweeper as I try and keep up with the McLaren. But as we head to lap number 11 now, we are still all over the back of him with the help of some DRS as well, as we now get our second chance of DRS heading down towards turn 4. We're going to fly past the McLaren. We've seen what a rocket ship this Mercedes can be with some ERS and DRS deployment, and we are back ahead into P3 for now. But Lando, I imagine, will not let this go easy as we come to the end of lap number 13 now. Lando's still all over the back of us. He's going to look to the inside of turn 1. I'm going to try and hold the outside line here, have the inside for turn 2, but Lando sweeps it around the outside there. He'll have the inside for turn 3, so we're going to go side by side now down towards turn 4. We don't have DRS. However, again, this Mercedes is very, very quick in a straight line. Leclerc looking for a way through as well, but just not quite enough room for that Ferrari to make it 3 wide. So we're going to keep it alongside Lando Norris now as we head up towards the sweeper. We do have the inside line. Lando tries to hold it, but he's not quite able to. Leclerc very sneakily down the inside of the sweeper there as Lando sort of got a little bit forced wide by ourselves. And so Lando won't be happy. He was looking to move up to 3rd. He's ended up dropping down to 5th here as Leclerc now onto lap number 15 down our inside. He's actually gotten a bit further ahead than Lando was able to, and so I have to tuck back in behind. We have simulation damage, so very lucky to have gotten away with that bit of contact on the Ferrari's rear wing there. A little bit cheeky from Leclerc, sorry, to slow it right down in the middle of the corner. However, with the help of DRS, we're going to come back alongside the Ferrari. However, because we're on the very inside, we have to take the corner a bit slower. So Leclerc with a bit of a better run. Leclerc forcing us right up onto that inside curb, similar to how Ocon did in the sprint. Again, Leclerc stops it in the middle of the corner. Very, very cheeky there from Charles Leclerc, the Season 1 champion, going for a second championship here. Very, very sneaky of him to be just stopping it in the middle of the corner to try and get us to damage our front wing. Luckily, not doing it.
Okay, some information on Gasly. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And Mark, they're telling us that the race leader, Pierre Gasly, with some sort of issue slowing him down. So the Gasly just does not seem to have the luck. He's been so quick all season, but just some poor luck for the Red Bull driver as we come into the pit lane now for our scheduled one-stop pit stop on the end of lap number 17 here. So just got to make sure we get this time nice and right there. We're not going to jump Leclerc. However, as you might have seen there, Alonso was actually in the pit lane as well. So Ferrari's double stacking for some reason here, and that's going to really hurt Fernando. Look, he's still in the pit box. I think he might have actually been held up by the McLarens as well. He's still in his pit box. I don't know if he's maybe changing a front wing as well, but look at his name tumbling right down the order. So that is an absolute disaster there for our championship rival. He's going to have a real fight in his hands in the second half of this Grand Prix to try and gain some good points and not lose an even bigger margin to myself as we exit the pit lane there in P6. We'll obviously gain a few places as some medium runners and some more guys come into the pit lane a little later on. But here's Verstappen. He was in second. He got an undercut on his teammate who already has an issue on anyway. And there is Gasly exiting the pit lane behind and quite a way behind. So Pierre Gasly, just with the poor luck there with some sort of issue, has dropped him out of the lead of the race. He's still doing well in P2, but he's had so many opportunities this season where it looked like he could have maybe had the pace to win, and he's had it taken away from him. However, you can see on lap 19 here, Norris exiting the pit lane ahead of us. So the overcut actually looks like it wasn't that bad of a strategy there, at least for Norris. He's come out ahead of us, and he'll have fresher tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. However, obviously, his tyres will be very cold on this outlap and so we've got to try and maximize our warm tyres that we've got and come back at him here. However, here's Lewis Hamilton looking to make a move on Carlos Sainz for P8. The Williams defending from the McLaren, though. We've already seen a few times Sainz is a very good defender, especially in the first round at Australia. He did a very, very good job at defending from everyone. And it looks like he's trying to do that once again here, defending from Hamilton. And Hamilton now finds himself under attack from Alonso. Alonso with a double move on both Hamilton and Sainz there. So a great move from the Ferrari. And I'm guessing that is a very, very angry Fernando Alonso behind the wheel after having a double stack and losing all those positions. So he's into P8. Hamilton still down behind Sainz there. Norris sets a fast lap of the Grand Prix on lap number 20 there, and so for now he's actually pulling away from us slightly, and I've just got to try and keep up and maybe use a little bit of DRS to hopefully have him pull us along a little bit. But here we are now on lap 21. Hamilton going for another move on Carlos Sainz. Is he able to get it done? Not quite. Sainz defending once again, and now our teammate Russell trying to get himself involved in this. He's outside of the points after having to change his front wing early on, so he's looking to get himself back into the top 10. Sainz does successfully defend there from Hamilton, so I can't imagine Hamilton's going to be very happy behind the wheel there. I don't know if he still has whatever that early race issue was. Maybe that's why he's struggling so much to get ahead of the Williams, but either way, he is really struggling to get it done. Is he going to get it done this time? Sainz again defending. He has the inside for turn 3. However, Hamilton doesn't have the DRS, Sainz does. So Russell now coming for a move on Lewis. Is he going to get the move done? They're side by side through turn 4. The other Williams of Alex Albon now trying to get himself involved in this battle. Russell and Hamilton going to go side by side. Who's going to have the better run through the sweeper? It's Hamilton, and Albon actually very sneakily getting through on our teammate as well. So is Russell going to be able to hold on now to the move from Alex Albon? It looks like he might be able to. Albon doing very well to hold on there, but Russell does in the end keep it ahead in P11. Still outside of the points though. So as we cut now to lap 23, once again, 4th time I believe this is, maybe even 5th, I can't quite remember. Hamilton trying to go for a move on the Williams, has to tuck back in behind again in P10, and again he's missed out on DRS, so Russell again going to go for a move on the McLaren round the outside of turn 4. Hamilton getting held up behind Sainz there. Is the Mercedes going to get it over the McLaren into the sweeper here? I believe it's turn 6 here, this sweeper. They're going to go side by side. Hamilton tries to hold it, but Russell in the end is able to get the move done on the McLaren, so Hamilton will be so frustrated there, actually ending up dropping outside of the points. As you can see, then we did set the fast lap at the end of lap 22 there, and we have gotten ourselves back within DRS range of Lando Norris. So the pace coming back to us here in the latter stage of this race. We're going to close up to Norris and fly past him, rocket past him, before we're even into the braking zone there. So it's us up into P4 now. Leclerc just ahead of us on the final podium position. Can we close in on the Ferrari? Unfortunately, doesn't quite look like it. He's pulled away a little bit here. Now Lando once again coming back at us into turn 4. He dives it. It was a very big dive there from Lando. We're going to try and hold it around the outside, but unfortunately I just got a little bit of wheel spin on that exit curb, and so Lando's going to keep it alongside us. He flies around the outside there at the sweep of the move we've made a couple times this race, and so the McLaren gets it back up into P4. This is a great race with Lando, and for now we're going to have to just sort of bide our time and see if we can maybe make a move a little bit later on. You can see just sitting in behind Lando here at onto lap number 29, waiting for the second DRS zone. And this is going to be a great display of the absolute rocket ship that this Mercedes is. Look how far back we are, about 4/10 at the start of the straight, but with the help of ERS and DRS, we've flown right up on the back of the Brit. We've gone around the outside of turn 4, and that's us back up into P4 for now on lap 29. However, is Lando going to be able to come back at us later as we go now to lap 33? So there's only going to be 3 laps left to go now as we go on to lap 34. Lando going to come at us. I tried to sort of go in the middle of the track to dissuade him from a move, but he comes through. There's a bit of contact there. He brushes the side of our car. He's going to try and hold the outside of turn 2. We're going to have to leave him a little bit space on the inside of turn 3, but we do get it ahead in the end then. And so we actually do get the DRS. Lando misses out. So now Sergio Perez, who's caught up to this battle, is going to look around the outside of Lando at turn 4. Alpine versus McLaren, where that's going to give us a little bit of breathing room, and Perez does get through there in the end into P5. And now as we head on to lap 35, Perez is all over the back of us with DRS. We're deploying some battery to try and defend, but Perez is going to send it to the inside of turn 1. 2 laps to go. We're going to have the inside for turn 2, so we do hold on to P4 for now. That move that position, P3, is completely gone. 12 seconds up the road now. That's how much time we've lost in this battle as Perez now to the inside of turn 4. We're going to try and hold it around the outside because that sets us up nicely for an inside line at the sweeper. We're going to go side by side with Sergio Perez now heading up to the very fast right-hander. However, he's actually got the move done there before we've got to the corner, and so for now we have to tuck back in behind the Alpine there and look for a move now at the end of lap 35. So we're about to start the last lap of the Grand Prix. Perez goes defensive. I forced the issue though down the inside, almost brushing up against that pit lane wall. We get the move done into P4. However, now we're going to have to give it absolutely everything to defend from the Alpine and the McLaren here on this DRS straight. Perez is all over the back of us, and so we're going to go to the inside here. Perez is going to look to the outside as we have to go a little bit slower, obviously, with that inside line. So Perez round the outside holds it there, and now we are actually in a bit of a disadvantaged position because of that defensive move we made. He's going to have the inside for the sweeper, so I'm going to try and hold it there, but actually the car gets a little bit loose. We go out on the outside curb. Lando goes to the inside. I locked up the front wheel there, and so we've lost both positions on the last lap. We could have been in 4th. We're now down in 6th. We're going to have to try and give it absolutely everything we've got. Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix there. I'm sure Pierre Gasly, I'm sure he'll be happy with a P2, but he'll be absolutely devastated to have had that car issue that's given his teammate the win as we come around what is effectively really the last corner. And can we maybe get Lando Norris? I don't think so. We didn't quite get the run that we wanted out of that corner. And so even though we have DRS and ERS, so does Norris. And in the end, it's going to be a P6, our worst finishing result so far this season.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Witnessed some great battles around the historic curves of Interlagos today, and they've taken a fantastic win. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today? Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
And so here we are with the results for the weekend. Verstappen and Gasly 1-2 for Red Bull. Great weekend for them. Those upgrades they bought clearly working for those guys. Leclerc 3rd, Norris 4th. Perez doing very, very well in the Alpine to come away from the weekend 5th in the points. Ourselves 6th there with not the greatest results, but getting the fastest lap in the Grand Prix and picking up points in both the sprint race and the race there, putting us in 6th. Alonso, our main championship rival, down in P7, so that is the main takeaway, where we were able to outscore Alonso this week. And Hamilton in P8, Ricciardo doing well in 9th there for forward performance, and Russell only picking up 2 points in the Grand Prix. A very, very disappointing weekend for our teammate. He really needs to get it together, because at the moment I'm doing all the hard yards for the Constructors' Championship. I know that's not the main focus of the career mode, being a driver career mode, but still, it'd be nice to come away from the season with both the Constructors and the driver. In terms of just the race itself, P6 for ourselves, 9th for Russell. Verstappen obviously winning there by 6 seconds over his teammate after Gasly did have whatever issue it was that he was having. Perez again doing very, very well to finish P4 in an Alpine there. Not even one of the top teams there. It meant to be a midfield team according to the chart, but again, this season is so, so close. And so Perez doing very well there up in P4. And as I said just before, fastest lap for ourselves. Get ourselves that extra bonus point, which you never know could prove to be very, very crucial come the end of the season. As we've seen plenty of times before, it can come down to the wire in F1 career modes. And so, yeah, every little point can matter. Alonso finishing in P7 just behind us in the end there. So a great comeback, really, for Alonso in that race, considering the double stack. In terms of the driver standings, I did have to get it after the weekend because I completely forgot to. Apologies for that, but we are still leading the way by now. Verstappen in second place ahead of Alonso, so that little bit of a poor drive, or not really even Alonso's fault, but the poor call from Ferrari has dropped him down to P3. Only 2 points behind Verstappen, but it is very, very close. Only 3 points separating Verstappen, Alonso, and Norris, so that battle's heating up. And one poor weekend from myself could throw me right into the mix there. Russell right down in P7, only 34 points. So again, I keep saying it, but Russell really needs to get it together. In terms of the constructors, we are 7 points ahead of Ferrari, so we are slowly losing that margin, and yeah, that is why I keep saying that we need it to be a team effort if we want to win the constructors, which would be very nice. But that is all for this video, guys. We are in Great Britain for the British Grand Prix next time out, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.